So, hello and welcome back to the Her Tech Life podcast. I'm really excited to be joined by Mini today. How are you, Mini?
I'm good, thanks. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Yeah, I think we can still say that, can't we? At least
I know. When does it stop? I don't know. But
yeah, I'm never sure what the cutoff is, but yeah, things still
Not
feel
much.
new, so I guess it can. Yeah, absolutely. So, how have you been? How's your week been so far?
Yeah, good, thanks. Obviously, it's only Tuesday, and
Still early days.
packed with lots of engagements, talking to clients, and having lots of meetings internally as well, driving opportunities, that kind of sort of thing. So, yeah, going really well. Good to be busy.
Yeah, it sounds like a good start to the year. So would you mind starting just by introducing yourself to our listeners and telling us a little bit about what your role is at the moment?
Sure. So Mini Biswas. So I've been in the tech industry for the past 15 odd years. And my role currently, as of today, is I'm a modern working security specialist. So I specialise in AI, predominantly Microsoft technology.
Hot topic at the moment.
Hot topic at the moment. Lots of buzz in the air, especially around Copilot as well. And I also specialise in cybersecurity as well. And in terms of my actual role is delivering engagements to clients. So I'm working for an organization that's a Microsoft solutions partner, and they specialize in particular areas with their accreditations that allows certain things like funded engagements to take place and sort of release the art of the possible in technologies that customers can make use of and sort of understand what feature sets are available out there. And I'm sort of at the forefront talking to those sort of clients and all sorts of types of businesses, be it private sector or public sector as well. And it's been great for me, to be honest, because it's a constant thing of learning for me, and being in this role itself has given me different sort of challenges, different sort of excitements, different sort of scenarios to be part of, and given me that exposure, which has helped me in my confidence and also in my knowledge around the areas.
Yeah, that sounds really interesting. Like I say, working with so many different businesses and things, it must be quite different for you, like on a day-to-day. What is your kind of day-to-day like? What sort of things does your role involve?
So being a solution specialist, it's actually in a department called pre-sales, and it's quite common across lots of different organizations that offer.
Yeah, we have one as well.
So pre-sales can be a number of hats. It could be enablement for internal employees in terms of how to go to market and pitch certain products and services out to their clients. But the big part of what I do is actually being in the forefront and actually working with clients. And the good thing about it is that I'm not selling, but at the same time, I don't need to be too technical. So I'm kind of the in-between person who has an all-rounded sort of understanding of what a technology environment looks like, moving from sort of old infrastructure on-premise to a digital footprint going into AI or moving into cloud, etc. And also the rising case of cybersecurity threats out there at the moment. That's a hot topic too at the moment. And
absolutely.
Exactly. So my day-to-day is very much being in lots of different discussions internally and with clients, and sort of working with everybody all around and kind of bringing my experience to the table of 15 years and sort of talking about technology and talking about, what's the next step for you, and sort of understanding pain points and challenges others are going through and how I can roll up sleeves and support where I can, I guess. So it's a multitude of little activities that I do, but in the grand scheme of things, it's known as pre-sales and it's known as a technical specialist.
Yeah, no, that's great. Thank you, Minnie. That's really insightful. I think it's interesting for people to understand a little bit more of like what some of these roles kind of look like on a day-to-day, because sometimes it's hard to just kind of hear the terms, not necessarily know what kind of tasks that might involve. So that was really helpful. Thank you.
Yeah, there's other names for it as well, like solutions architect or sales specialist.
Yeah, there's so many different names for the same roles, isn't there? So
exactly. The crux of it is, you're a consultant basically, and
so that's kind of a good like catch-all term almost, isn't it? So and like you say, utilizing all that experience you built up over so much time as well. That must be so useful. So stepping aside like from your role just for a moment, who are you outside of work? Because I love getting to kind of know a little bit more about guests, just kind of things that they like to do, their hobbies, their interests. So tell me a little bit about you.
So I've got so much going on outside of work, and the main reason for that is I've got 2 young kids. So I've got a
of course, there's so much there then.
Exactly. So I'm a mum, I'm a wife, I'm a cleaner, I'm all sorts behind the doors of what we do in our day-to-day lives. But also I'm a big part of lots of communities, especially around tech initiatives. I'm sure you're aware of this as well. So winning a TechWomen100 Award.
Yes, congratulations.
So thank you, and you too. So being part of those communities kind of led me to also explore things like becoming a STEM ambassador, and also bringing my own identity to the table. I'm Indian, born and bred in Britain, so kind of the mash of words are Brit-Asian, but it's kind of sharing my cultural inheritance with the world as well. I celebrate Christmas, but I also celebrate Indian festivals like Diwali, and sort of bringing that to play in my home life and teaching my kids about that sort of culture as well. And so outside of work I've got lots going on. I love dancing too, so you'll see me
doing what kind of dancing?
Performances and stuff like that, being part of classes. Big on dancing.
Oh wow, that's really cool. I love that. That's really interesting. And yeah, I love that you bring that cultural heritage as well. And I think we'll talk about kind of women being underrepresented in tech, but also women of color as well, especially. So it's really lovely to showcase those role models who are out there and hear your stories as well. So tell us a little bit about how you got into your role. I mean, you've got so much experience. Let's dive into that a little bit then.
Okay, I guess we'll start from the beginning, and I'll keep it short because I don't want to go on and on. But essentially, I did criminology at university a long time ago.
Okay, interesting.
Criminology and drama, actually, minor drama.
Oh, I did drama too.
It was fun. I love the drama piece. I actually had this dream. I wanted to go into CSI. But it worked out. I was too smiley to be a real coffer as well, so that didn't work out. But there was a public sector sort of job cuts going on. There was a recession when I graduated, and that kind of led me to explore what else is out there. I had a little dancing stint with a dance crew. I was working for a charity as a fundraiser. Back in those days, I worked at the Disney store for a couple of years. So these are sort of in my uni days, finishing up. So I said to myself, I need to find a real job, whatever it is. And I thought I'm quite good at talking to business. I'm quite good at talking to people. And that led me to explore sales roles. And it started from there, really. I applied for a sales role at a company that happened to be a tech company, and they were also a Microsoft partner. And all those years ago, I had no idea about tech or industry and the terminology, or working in an office either. And I kind of got my foot in the door, became an account manager. And in the first sort of 6 to 9 months, I somehow became really good at selling Microsoft licensing. That was really what I was selling. Lots of people were talking to me about sort of the licensing structures, and it is quite complex, but I think I found a way to simplify it and talk to businesses about it. And it's very much at that point where Microsoft approached the company I was working for to say, we want to fund a few heads in your organization to basically sell Office 365 as a solution. And that was new back then. So I was one of the funded heads by Microsoft. And that was the first ever time I heard of cloud. And because it was a brand new role, it was kind of, very much in sort of my powers to kind of invent as I went along, and the job descriptions as I went along.
Make it work for you.
It work for me, and that is the starting of my career, really, as a pre-sales technical specialist in sort of the cloud and Microsoft world. I then went on to specialize in multiple things, not just Microsoft, but also cloud infrastructure, but also, SD-WAN and networking, and started understanding more about other vendors out there. So not just Microsoft, I was also talking and selling Cisco and becoming a specialist in Fortinet and all these different big brands out there. And that was the beauty of working at an organization that's a managed service provider who agnostic with vendors, and the fast growth at the organizations I've been at, the fast growth in terms of scale of how they've grown, both revenue wise and also in terms of internal growth, staff members too, that's really shaped me in helping me understand a lot about business, and also has been quite cool in terms of my own sort of growth professionally, from where I was talking from a specialist point of view, junior sort of role, working my way up. And at my previous organization, I actually became, pre-sales manager, and I was doing leadership accreditations and, official courses. And that kind of led me to where I am today, and the role I am at today. I applied for the role about 5 months ago. And funny enough, I knew the hiring manager from years ago in the industry. It's actually quite cool if you think about it. I worked with him at some shape or form about, over 10 years ago. And this role really, it really spoke to me, because the beauty about it was there was no job description for this role too. And it kind of led me back to how Microsoft operate, and, all those years ago, that was a new service, a new buzz in the air. And that's what I'm all about. I love to learn. I love to be at the forefront of technology. So I grabbed it with both hands. I went for the interview, and I, smashed it in the interview apparently, and got offered the job, and I'm now in it 5 months, and I absolutely love what I do. I would say one of the key things around it is that support network as well that the organization provide me, which is nice, because not many organizations do that. We'll cover that through the questions anyway. But,
that's really
how
good.
I got to my role was basically applying for it 5 months ago and wanting to be at the forefront of technology.
Yeah, that's so exciting, and it's really interesting. Obviously I can tell how much you love learning and developing from everything you said, and obviously I guess that fits into the fact that you really love a role that you get to shape yourself, like you have done here and before. So that's really cool. But I don't know, I think you could have been good on CSI as well, though.
Thank you. Maybe as a backup plan,
but you've definitely honed your skills here, so that's amazing. So what are your kind of favorite aspects of your role, do you say?
I'm a serial networker. So I'm that person who loves to, have a conversation with someone, and I'm just naturally curious. I just want to sort of understand, how has someone done certain things, or what they're exploring, what's the future looking like. I guess for me, it's just sit really well with my personality, I guess, as well. And I think I naturally, I feel like I'm naturally good at this. And every time there's been a knock-on effect where I don't understand something, I will go and sort of learn it. And I think that's been the greatest achievement of all time for me.
That's amazing.
If I find a blocker, I'm a problem solver, and I'll go find
and that motivation to do it.
And if I don't have the tools, then I'll go find the tools, or I'll find the people who know about the tools that can support me with the tools. So it's kind of I think that's the best aspect of where I am right now. That it's a role that I feel like I can naturally do, but it also pushes me to keep learning because of the technology. So quickly moving and booming in this industry.
So that curiosity and that drive to keep learning is so important. Like you said, just ever evolving.
Exactly.
Especially in two of the areas that you've been talking about as well, like AI and cybersecurity. Those kind of big hot topics at the moment. So lots for you to keep learning and growing with that.
And prior to 5 months, I hardly had any specialist areas within these two segments. I actually, as I said, was more cloud focused, network focused, even collaboration focused.
Yeah.
But actually, 5 months ago, I just went into it and I was like, I know I can do it.
Yeah. I love that. I love that
Yes,
confidence, Minnie. That's
this
great.
is what I mean. You can pick up and
Yeah.
go. And this is what I would like the audience to understand, that you don't need to specialize in a particular product set or a feature set or a vendor or technology your whole life to be a pro at it. I've learned this within the last 5 months, and already I've picked it up really quickly, and I'm getting great feedback from clients to say, you seem like you've been doing this for years, but AI is something that's only really mainstream come out in the last sort of 24 months.
Yeah, absolutely.
So yeah, I would say that's been a good thing about it.
Yeah, those skills are really vital. Yeah,
especially if the resources are there and the tools are there for you to learn.
Yeah, so those skills are more vital than a specific, like you say, software or platform or tool set or whatever. It's building up those key skills that you can use across the board. So what has your experience been like working in tech? What have been some of the challenges and the benefits for you?
I think I've found this a bit of a struggle to put together a response on, actually, I'm not going to lie. And I think what I would say is, because technology and the organizations who provide technology services are fast paced, moving and scaling at such a rate, if you look at the last 30 years, we've seen so much technical development in all areas, right? From where we were on Nokia phones, going to touchscreen, going from, and now everyone knows about Microsoft 365 and people know about ChatGPT, and people are using certain things in their personal lives, and that there's this assumption that, okay, well, organizations need to keep up and sort of have this available as well. I guess the key challenge, I would say, is a trend I'm seeing is consolidation. Lots of organizations are teaming up or acquiring other businesses. So you've got the organic growth, fast growth business. Then I've had experience working at organizations that have gone through acquisition. And then what I've found, and this is not just my experience, I've spoken to so many people about this, and I've also looked at so much research online and other organizations saying similar things, is the actual culture, of when you mash companies together to work in an acquired state. There can be a lot of toxic culture that comes into play. There's also this uncertainty about your role, things like redundancy, layoffs, and also conflict of interest in terms of one organization working in a certain manner, and when they're acquiring another company, there's expectation that they will do it the same, or
have different values and stuff entirely as well.
Exactly, and KPIs are different, and the way
of course,
different, what they stand for, the values, the goals, the everything is different. And so I found that a little bit of an eye opener, because I had not gone through something like that, and having gone through it, and then seeing in the news nearly every day there's a layoff going on. In this day and age, that's been quite not challenging, the word, but I would say quite I guess anxious, that's the word in certain people's eyes, of where does this leave me as an individual or the company or the organization. So that's what I would say I've seen, and that is a challenge, and that's a constant thing that I'm seeing again and again, that is seen as normal now, which
it does seem to be happening a lot, like you say, so much that it is almost normal, which is
so that's just something I'd highlight, to basically say that is something I'm seeing of, and this consolidation of services, or consolidation of organizations, or consolidation, the word consolidation is
just even that word we're hearing a lot more, aren't we?
Exactly. I mean, we're kind of seeing it when we do searches for our insurance. It's no longer just car insurance. It will also show you, other areas as well, where you can go to one site for everything, for example. So we're kind of seeing that as as even Instagram, Facebook, Meta AI, WhatsApp, all these
Combining, yeah.
Exactly. That's
Yeah.
something I would say is something I'm seeing commonly. People see it as a good thing, which it is as well to some extent, even from a price point of view. But the back end of consolidation I've seen as a challenge.
Yeah, no, that's a really good one. Yeah, thank you, Minnie, because I don't think anyone's talked about that one before, but that is something that, like you say, is quite common now. So it's definitely good to highlight and think about that one. And what about in terms of benefits then? Because you said challenges was difficult, but I'm guessing then maybe benefits is something that you're more keen to share on.
Yeah, well, I can talk about the benefits of consolidation, but if you want to talk about just the benefits of any particular area.
I don't mind. I mean, we could do that, as we've talked a bit about consolidation anyway.
Yeah, I would say there's lots of good things about it. I mean, from a consumer point of view, having a consolidation, one place, you don't need to call up 5 different people for a service, for example. Having that one place to call, and also from a consumer point of view in terms of price point as well. Everything one, your renewals on one date. You don't have to manage different renewals on different companies or different numbers to call.
Yeah.
So there's lots of benefits to consolidation, and I guess in my previous organization, the benefits were actually there was something called cross-sell. So I became quite quickly a specialist who became quite all-rounded. So I started understanding more about other technologies and the other applications they brought to the table, and that was a huge learning curve for me too, because I only had a specialism in certain areas that the managed service provider sort of did at that moment in time, and then that opened up to all these different areas. So and I guess in terms of benefits is that there's an opportunity to shine and make a business case for yourself as well. So if you're a woman in tech and you kind of want to make a name for yourself, you want to kind of work your way through it and sort of show your value, at that point it's a really good time to shine and kind of sort of show your business case of this is what you can offer on the table. But it's also being about being in front of the right people, because with all changes and acquisitions, etc., then going back to the challenge,
it's going to vary a lot on
who's now taking over, who's doing what, what does the new org chart look like, because you could be knocking on the wrong door to make that business case.
That's true.
It's a mixed bag, but in terms of benefits, I guess going to aspects of working for an organization like a managed service provider. I would say that it's so low key in sort of a sense where people don't realize that there's a whole world out there in a managed service provider space. There's vendors, there's the channel, there's resellers, there's so many different types of organizations that form within a tech industry. And the managed service provider space for me has been amazing. I've been in it for the last 15 years, and you have the ability to talk to customers about what they're doing, and every organization seems to want to have a managed service of some sort, or some sort of service that they can buy as a per user per month type of model, and I guess I've thrived in this environment because this is where I've been able to show value of the organization I work with, but also in terms of my own ability to understand how everything works from a business perspective. Because having spoken to them, it's been great, and it's low key. Not many people know about this. When I went to my daughter's school actually a couple of months ago, I said, how many of you, understand what I do? And they were like, what do you do? And I was like, I'm an AI specialist. And they were like, what does that mean? And so I asked them, what would you like to be when you grow up? And a few of them were like, a doctor, a teacher, YouTube star. That's becoming a popular one.
Oh yeah, I bet.
No one said anything about tech, and that's what I mean. It's so low key. Not many people know, and especially in the younger generation and the younger years, and also when you leave university and wanting to start get an opportunity, find a job, people don't really look out for this space. It's just one of those where if you know the industry and you know someone in the industry, it's like, oh, now I've applied and I've got a job. But that is, I think, that is what needs to change. That needs to open up to more people to get visibility into these sort of sectors.
No, yeah, I agree.
And if you wouldn't mind, as part of this podcast, if you could share maybe in the link below or something around statistics, because that kind of is a clear indication. The lack of visibility in this space is a clear indication that, you know, and the statistics showing that there is a low number of women in tech roles or in tech industries. And I think
it's far under half. Far below.
And just to set the scene, this is not about women empowerment or anything like that. It's literally about you know, having a fair share in the tech industry of women and men.
Absolutely.
And that's why I think it's important to talk about these sort of things, of how organizations and how role models and how people can support more women entering the industry. And you're absolutely right, in starting from the younger years and in schools, in settings like those, is super important. Because then that is the way role models can say, well, no, you can explore a tech role, being an AI specialist, as an example. Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
No, I love that. What are some of your favorite achievements?
There's a few. TechWomen100 obviously was an amazing one. I love the award ceremony as well. But I think in terms of how that even came about and how I got nominated and support in the background and just the whole community and the after, you know, support as well, and that's been amazing. So TechWomen100 was a good one. I also completed a level 5 leadership award through ILM.
Oh, wow, congrats.
My previous organization, and that was a huge life-changing moment for me. Actually, it wasn't just the level 5. I did a level 3 prior to that with Chartered Management Institute, and going through these sort of leadership courses. And sort of understanding, you know, inside me that, you know, there's so much more to me than just my professional world and personal world, and kind of breaking down barriers and becoming more confident and how to be in certain scenarios like conflict management or how to manage certain situations and how to understand my personality profile and things like that. That was a game-changing moment for me. I remember my previous manager, around 10 years ago, actually, a previous manager of mine was like, "You're really emotional on email," and I didn't know how to take it. He was an amazing manager, by the way, because even like telling me that really helped me in understanding I know where to work on myself. And so I went through this course and I learned how to be better at writing emails. You know, it's so simple, becoming more professional. And he was blown away after I'd finished the course. He was like, wow, who's writing these emails?
AI, no, I'm joking.
But these are the sort of things that helped me through my career. And I would definitely recommend investing in courses. It's definitely worthwhile. And some of the other ones, I worked for a charity called Shelter many years ago. I think I raised over £100,000 for them. That was really cool.
That's amazing.
Yeah, and I
think that when you were a charity fundraiser, you mentioned you did that after uni.
I was doing that whilst through university. I did that.
Yeah, wow.
And that was fun because I spoke
doing that at the same time. That's amazing.
I spoke to hundreds of people a day in the snow, in the rain, in the sunshine. I remember high-fiving so many different people, and built lots of rapport. And that's
you really are very people orientated, aren't you? You really have that drive for like that interpersonal connection that really shines throughout kind of every role you've had.
Yeah, and I think that's just come naturally.
So
but that was a really good one. I loved working for Shelter. They were really cool. I've got a least favorite as well. My least favorite I was once on a show called Deal or No Deal many years ago. I only won 10p and I'm still from
that's heartbreaking.
Never cashed it in.
I wouldn't bother cashing that.
I was so hyped that I was going to win like £250,000, but that box went in my first couple of couple of boxes that I chose.
Mm.
Anyway.
Oh, that's painful. Oh, bless you. Yeah, that's fair enough. That would be my least favourite as well. I definitely won't cash that down.
It was a fun experience, though. It was a fun experience.
Yeah.
Noel Edmonds.
I guess that's the thing. They definitely, a lot of people is big on that show, so it's not a surprise. But $250,000 Tempe. Yeah, that's true.
Exactly.
Love it. So I wanted to ask as well, what would be your advice if someone was interested in a role like yours? What could they kind of do to get themselves there? Where should they start?
Yeah, do you know what? It's going back to my earlier point as well. Just research managed service provider.
Yeah, find out about it, the unknown.
That's the one takeaway I would say. And also, if you're willing to sort of learn, and you use AI tools today, which I'm assuming people are quickly catching up on, then this is a role for you. You know, you kind of just need to explore roles like sales specialist. And you don't have to go straight into a specialist role, because I didn't do that. You know, I went straight into a sales manager role, or a sales account manager role, and kind of worked my way and became good at something, and then got the opportunity to sort of shine and become a specialist. So I would say that, you know, have your mindset as, if you don't know how something works, and if you don't know the technology, fear not, because no doesn't mean never. And that's the mentality you kind of need to go in with. Yeah, that's the mentality you need to go in with, which means if you get the opportunity, or if you want to find the opportunity, don't shy away from learning. And you're going to be learning on the go through the engagements. That's how I've learned through my whole experience in the last 15 years.
I love that. That's so I'm going to take that phrase away. Just that under it doesn't mean never. That's so good.
Yeah, no, never. Yeah, but it's all about applying for the job, right? Applying for a role in those spaces. A lot of times, you go on LinkedIn and you're like, what am I looking for? Sales, pre-sales, and go to market, and you know, it's kind of just actually moving away from all of that, and actually trying pitching to organizations directly. So if you you know, like the sound of an organization, be it a vendor like Microsoft, etc., you should actually look at their recruitment team, approach them, and say, this is what you bring to the table, or you are willing to learn. And you know, that is so powerful in itself. You know, organizations will hear you out, and will look at your profile, will look at, you know, what other things, you know, you bring in terms of people skills, etc., etc. So yeah, fear not, and just do it. Just apply. There's not a lot of people applying. I think that's the issue.
Yeah, I think some people are afraid to apply and probably have that imposter syndrome around it. But quite often it's probably just people undervaluing themselves, when actually they've probably got the skills to bring to the table. They just need to apply.
And actually, you've probably heard this, because this is mentioned at almost every tech women event that I've been to, is that if you look at a job description of some sort that you're looking to apply to, a lot of the times, if you're not able to do that one thing that you know, that you find on the job description, that kind of puts you off. And I think this is the difference, because an alternative person, maybe you know, majority of the time, if you're male and not female, and you look at the job description and you can do 3 of the 5 things, you're like, yeah, I'm going to apply anyway. So it's kind of like having that mindset and the confidence, which is, I think, embedded maybe in some of us, you know, naturally. I don't know, but I have heard that is kind of, you know, looking through the majority of the things that are you know, are there that you can do and apply for it. Don't fear that you do that one thing, and I think that's also a key takeaway, that apply for the role. You never know what's going to happen.
I love that, Mini. I hope your confidence rubs off on some people watching then, if they're thinking about applying for a job and they're not quite sure if they should. So hopefully they'll give it a go now. And my last question really is just, what change would you want to see in the tech industry, and how do we get there? Which might link kind of a little to what we talked about before with the visibility, perhaps.
Yeah, I think there's a number of things, and change starts at home. And the reason why I say that is, especially being from, an Indian community, that there is this lack of knowledge that a woman from Indian ethnicity, from that family who's become a mum, can work in a tech environment. And I think it's breaking down those barriers as well. Because a lot of people I know, and sort of, even if I go back to people I know, my cousins and those sort of people in India, for example, it's kind of frowned upon that you go back to work and leave your baby, and I'm like, no, they're at nursery, they're having the time of their lives.
They are having the time of their life, yeah.
Porridge, they're having a blast, they're learning through other, they're having friends at that.
But that is quite a big, like you say, a big cultural barrier to break down, obviously, yeah.
Yeah, and I wouldn't say it's just an Indian thing. I would just
say
it's
just an example, isn't it? Of
it's just an example, and it's quite common that it's frowned upon. And it's breaking through that barrier. And the reason I say it starts at home is that it's up to the person individually to make that call. And I think having that support network for someone to go back into the workplace is super important. The organization I work for right now actually is so cool. I mean, I've done my maternities, but I've seen what they're doing, so many great things right now around people returning from maternity and how they're making it super important to focus on them sort of training back, getting back to working, and having a support network around them.
Really important. Yeah.
And not many organizations offer that as a standard.
No.
Go on, sorry.
Yeah, I was gonna say it'll make a huge difference to the company as well, because the retention is way more likely to be good if people feel valued and supported in that, return to work as well.
Absolutely. And but this also helps with people making the decisions of going back to work once they have a baby, and not feeling feared, not feeling degraded, or not feeling optimum, that they can go back and be the best version of themselves because they got a support network. And that's the beauty, I guess, the organization I work for today gives me flexibility. So if I need to go do a school pickup or go to a parents' evening or whatever it is that I need to do, they're so amazing because they have children. They understand.
There's that understanding. Yeah.
That's the difference, I would say. So, I mean, if I am to choose or give advice on which organizations to work for, I would definitely 100% say go for an organic growth organization, purely because I've just seen it's just so much more, not chilled. I wouldn't say the word chilled. I would say they are more flexible, professional, in a sense where they're real. They will understand.
Yeah, more authentic. Yeah,
they will work with you, and you work, but that brings out the best in the individual to then give everything to the company, right? That's how I feel right now. I feel like
it's kind of a win-win, really. I think
exactly the littlest support, at which I'm getting more than the little support. I'm getting amazing support,
but even the small amount makes a difference.
Yeah, and I feel like I'm going to roll up my sleeves, whatever the issue is, and just get stuck in. And I've got that mindset because, and I love working for them. And that's because of that organic growth. And you can see the personalities shine through and people genuinely caring for your well-being. My manager currently has, bi-weekly calls with me and asking me, how are you? And so it's so like simple to ask that question. But so many organizations don't. They don't even have those bi-weekly or weekly calls.
No, absolutely. Yeah, sometimes it's hard to even get to speak to someone, full stop in some organizations. So
from my experience, not that I'm pigeonholing just organic growth companies in the UK,
but from the experience
I have seen a huge change in that culture in terms of the positive effects of it. But yeah, those are sort of the things I would like to see in terms of change. I would like to see more people supporting more women coming back into work, creating policies for that. I would also like to see, this I guess in terms of where an organization sits with acquisition or organic growth or whatever they are in terms of their makeup. I would like to just see more from a I guess what the word more human culture come through, because even if we're moving to more AI, and we're using tools, we're using the likes of collaboration tools, we're chatting away, and we're picking up the phone, where is that human connection anymore? And how can we make sure that that remains, because that is who makes who we are, right?
Yeah.
So even though we've got all these tools and we've got all these things, I would definitely recommend put the camera on when you're speaking to people.
Yes, I know you're actually human.
And but keep in touch with that human form, because it's actually good both ways, for yourself as well, but for the other person as well, who's on the other end, so they see who they're working with. Otherwise, you could be just chatting away to a chatbot all day.
Yeah, it's true. You could.
Exactly. But anyway,
I think facial expressions and eye contact, and you miss all those bits of communication, don't you? I guess if you haven't got your camera on, or you're not in person, you miss some of those cues as well. Especially if you are checking in to see how someone is. I think it's important to take the time to do that in a more human way as well.
Yeah, exactly. But I would also like to see, outside of organizations, things like, in schools, in public sector spaces, I think they need to catch up, for sure. Like in councils, the way things are certainly done at the moment, and in schools. No, I'm not saying anything bad. I'm saying that there could potentially be more improvements that could be made to be in line with how we are in this day and age in 2021. We're closer to 2050 than we were to 1995, but it's like we're kind of still going for the 1995 and we need to catch up, right? So we need to get with the times in our public sector spaces, and I think that will really help, because that education space, especially my kids being in the education space, I see the division. I see the clear question mark around what is tech, and no one's answering really that question, apart from maybe the technical the teacher who specializes in tech, and sort of saying engineering or computer science, but this is beyond that. There's so much more out there just apart from computer science. So yeah.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much, Minnie. You've been brilliant, and I've loved having you on today.
No worries. Thank you so much. And if you would like to network with me or connect with me, then feel free to reach out. My LinkedIn details are below. And thank you so much for even hosting, Kat. And it's truly powerful with the stuff you're doing. It's making a huge positive impact. And I would like to see more and more people come forward, attend your podcasts, and I look forward to hearing more from you.
Thank you, Minnie. Yeah, I know there's going to be some more Tech Women 100s, which will be amazing, and beyond. So yeah, it's very exciting.